So I'm a Delhi boy, born, bred, whatever, little educated. I was dating somebody who wanted to be an actor, and she was breaking up with me one day, saying this isn't working out. I love you. Move mountains for you. She's like, okay, change cities then. And I'm very surprised at how I have arrived here. I'm an actor, producer, dreamer. I love food. That's it. I have a small life.
Saqib Saleem, a name synonymous with versatility and talent, has carved a significant niche for himself in the Indian film industry. Saqib's journey from a budding model to a sought-after actor is nothing short of inspiring.
I believe in destiny. I came here, I love Bombay. I've always tried to blend in, but the line of work I've chosen, I want to stand out and just live a good life. And it's not being selfish at all. It's about where you see yourself going. So I like to do that. Mental health is as important as your physical health. Everybody struggles mentally. At some point or the other in their lives, they struggle mentally. And just talk, man. At least with people who are close to you. So why hide it? We sometimes, where we are today, we just limit ourselves to be wherever. And I always keep, that is why I don't plan.
Hi, welcome to the Therapy Diaries. This is Ashna Kalra, your host, and we have a very special esteemed guest, Saqib Saleem. Thank you for joining us, Saqib.
It's an absolute pleasure. How are you?
Good, thank you. For those who may not be familiar, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Oh, wow. That's a long story. Are you in for it?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm a Delhi boy, born, bred, whatever, little educated, a Hindu college graduate. Of course, didn't do any fancy degree, was a BA pass graduate from Hindu college. Was a cricketer all my life. That was something that I wanted to do. I had posters of Sachin Tendulkar in my room, and I would talk to him every night and be like, sir, I'll play with you one day. And to one day realize, okay, great, this sport is great, I am also decent, but there are better players than me out there. And is this something I can make a career out of? And decided, no, I can't make a career out of this, so I have to have a career. And had no career plans, slightly privileged background. My father owns a restaurant business in Delhi, so of course there was comfort of a house, of food on the plate. So of course the aspirations were also
Lower.
Slightly limited because you're a Delhi boy, you have a car to your disposal, you go to a good college, parents give you a pocket money. So ऐसे aspirations नहीं बने थे. I was dating somebody who wanted to be an actor, and she moved to Bombay, and she was breaking up with me one day, saying this isn't working out, and I'm like, why? I love you. What are you saying? I will move mountains for you. She's like, okay, change cities then. Come to Bombay if you want this to work out. And I landed up here, and now I'm an actor and a producer. And I'm very surprised at how I have arrived here from this boy in Delhi who had no film connection, who knew nobody. The last film my father saw before my first film was Mughal-e-Azam.
Oh, wow.
That's how disconnected we are from the movies. My family is. So yeah, it's been interesting, this journey of mine, and now I really enjoy acting. I think I want to die on a film set, and now I start producing movies, and that's also what gets me really excited. So yeah, I'm an actor, producer, dreamer. I love food, and that's it. I have a small life.
That's amazing. Can you tell us that you started your career as a model?
जी,
Right?
वो
And
चंक
how-
नहीं बताया मैंने आपको.
And how did you transition into acting?
I didn't. People told me to transition. It's very strange that I always, today I'm sitting here because I feel like there have been a lot of good people in my life, and without wanting anything in return from me. And I was modeling. I was a 17-year-old kid modeling, walking for every possible designer in the country, from Rohit Bal to Rohit Gandhi, Rahul Khanna to Shantanu Nikhil.
Wow.
Everybody. And a 17-year-old boy doing it, having no clue what this world's like. And I met a very dear friend in the business called Varun Bahl. And he looked at me, the first time he saw me modeling, he's like, "Haan, great, you'll do this for a while, but you made for Bombay. You should go to Bombay right now. I have a friend called Chanu Sharma. You should go meet her." And I'm like, really? You think so? And there was one more person called Sushma Puri, who was the owner of this model agency I was with. And I remember her walking up to me in the Elite office. There was a modeling agency called Elite in Delhi, in the office. And she had her hands in her pockets and like, you know what, Saqib? I think you could do television. You should go to Bombay. And I was very happy. I'm like, oh, these people actually think that I can do this. And that's how I got here. And of course, the girlfriend was another pull. I'm like, these are all signs that are saying that Bombay is the place to be. The girl I want to be with is there. I'm a 20-year-old. And yeah, so that's how the transition happened. I came here, I auditioned, and people said, Arey, you're a good actor. I'm like, what are you talking about? Really, I've never done theatre in my life. I have stage fright. How can you say I'm a good actor? Like, I remember reading this review about my first film by Taran Adarsh, who said, he's the find of the year. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Me? I know nothing.
Felt unreal.
It felt unreal, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember I was shooting my first film. I was a decent enough actor when there was a wide shot put.
Yeah.
As soon as you put the camera right up close to me, my hand would start shaking. Because I hadn't been in an environment like this. And my director, I give her all my love, I call her Captain Nupur Asthana. She literally held my hand and made me act. She like, now do this, now do this. Acha, look right, laugh for 2 seconds, look back and say the line. She broke it down for me, right?
That's amazing.
And then when you read a review saying, Arey, he's the find of the year, I'm like, Arey, inko sachai pata nahi hai yaar abhi.
You have no idea of the journey.
So that's how the transition happened. I've just been very blessed that I met some really good people who didn't want anything from me in return and really believed in me when actually I didn't believe in myself at all.
Yeah.
I didn't know ki, like when you're sitting in Delhi watching a movie in a theatre growing up.
Yeah, you never think that'll be you.
You never think that these many people would turn up for you, buy a ticket and watch you.
Yeah.
Because you're so far away from that world, right?
Yeah.
Of course, if I would have grown in Bombay, the ambitions would have come out faster or sooner.
And more relatability.
Yeah, more relatability. You
Yeah.
see everything around. You hear about this movie business.
Yeah,
There is a madness.
I completely agree. Because
I
I'm
was
from
so
Delhi.
far
and it's
away.
very far away.
I was so far away, and when we were growing up, the Hindi film industry was people who talk about movies, gossip about who's dating who, and you actually, when you were growing up, you were part of it.
Yeah.
And now when you become one, and like, hey, ye kya kar rahe ho yaar? So it makes you also think that how far one has come in their journey. But I've just had fun. Ashna, I've never really planned anything in my life.
Yeah.
And I always get criticized for it by my family, my friends कि ये क्या होता है भाई? कोई planning ही नहीं है क्या करना है? मैंने कहा यहाँ तक पहुँच गए बिना planning के. These guys have called me. You guys have called me for an interview. It's my job to sit down and have a good, really wholesome chat. That's my job.
Right.
I have to have the intent to come here and do that job. I don't want to come here disinterested and be like, हाँ क्या है? बताओ अच्छा ठीक है. What's the fun in it?
Right.
I'm like, if I have an intent and people are interested in me, I don't know why, I should just rely on these people and believe in these people, because usually you don't get people backing you, right? You have to be somebody. That's what you've been told when you grow up.
Yeah.
कि यार तुम्हें किसी को जानना होना पड़ेगा. So I'm like, ऐसा तो कोई है ही नहीं. You meet people, they're like, अरे you're very cool, yeah, you're very good, you can act. I'm like, what? Really? I've never done a stage play. And my sister, on the other hand, was a theatre actor in Delhi. And I would go to pick her up from rehearsals and I would laugh at her. I'm like, ये क्या कर रहे हो नुक्कड़ नाटक यार? रोडों पे क्यों लोट रहे हो? And I would make fun of it.
Yeah.
Not realizing that 8-10 years down the line,
You probably will join.
I would find love for it, and that's what I now end up doing for the rest of my life.
Amazing. So do you think destiny brought you here, or do you think hard work brought you here?
Oh, interesting question. Of course, destiny, I believe in destiny. But I feel like you can, with your hard work, you can convert more than what is destined for you. You can create more. I don't know how I can explain that better, but I feel like, and not even hard work, I feel like सबसे मेहनत तो गधा करता है ना, सबसे ज़्यादा बोझ उठाता है. सिर्फ हार्ड वर्क से नहीं होता है यहाँ पर. I don't know if I'm saying it correct, but there's something called smart work.
Yeah.
That you have to be very smart about why you're doing and what you're doing. There has to be specifics. Why am I doing this film, or why am I doing this interview? And it's not being selfish at all. It's about being clear about where you see yourself going. So I like to do that. And I'm like, स्मार्ट वर्क करो, हार्ड वर्क तो सभी कर रहे हैं. हार्ड वर्क से सिर्फ लोग ये बोलेंगे अरे कितना अच्छा मेहनती आदमी है. मैं ये सुनना चाहता हूँ कि कितना अच्छा मेहनती आदमी है बट स्पेशल है.
Right.
कुछ अलग करता है जो ये बाकी दूसरे नहीं कर रहे हैं. इसका कुछ तरीका है. आई फील लाइक दैट्स द ओनली वे टू
The X
stand
factor.
out, right? Like
The X
I feel like most of my life, I'm 36 now, I've always tried to blend in. Like you go to a space and you see a space and you're like, okay, I need to blend in here.
Right.
But the line of work I've chosen, I want to stand out.
Obviously. Yeah.
If I blend in, if I'm like
You'll get
dime a
lost.
dozen, I'm like, I'll get lost. I have to be unique. So smart work, not hard work.
Not hard work. And a
Can
lot of
change
destiny.
your destiny a little. Can take it in an upward trajectory, I feel.
Yeah, I kind of agree because I think destiny would be you becoming an actor.
Yeah.
But what you do with
How
it.
big an actor, how successful an actor,
yeah,
how
I think-
loved an actor
Yeah.
is all on
It's
my
all on you.
on my how I think.
Agree. So you play diverse roles, from romantic leads to intense characters. How do you prepare for such different roles?
I read the script, hang out with the director a lot. I feel like that's my magic key. You have to decide when you read something, you meet a director, you're like, oh, iske saath maza aayega, one should work. Then you just have to hang out with him and completely understand his mind. And
You know, a lot of people say when they read a script, they go into that character. Are you one of them?
ऐसे ऐसे नहीं होता है. ये बहुत बोलने वाली बातें होती है. आई फील लाइक आप मटेरियल पढ़ते हो, आपको मटेरियल कुछ कहता है कि ये कहानी क्या कह रही है.
Correct.
एंड देन यू गेट टू द कैरेक्टर. आई नेवर रीड अ स्क्रिप्ट कि मेरा कैरेक्टर कहानी में क्या कर रहा है. पहले कहानी क्या कह रही है, कहानी ये कह रही है, अच्छा उसमें मेरा कैरेक्टर क्या कह रहा है. एंड वंस ऑल ऑफ दैट इज डिसाइडेड, माई प्रोसेस, आई हैव नो प्रोसेस. I feel like I have a self-created process which has worked for me, which is it's all in the script. Keep referring to the script. Keep speaking to your director. No, don't shy away from rehearsals. Just practice more, understand more, you'll do more, and just live a good life. Live a wholesome, good life. That's extremely, extremely important for being a good actor. You have to have new experiences. You have to feel things. We are paid to feel for people
Yeah.
on screen.
Yeah.
So let's go feel those things for real in our lives so that we can come pour them out on screen. So I feel I've become a better actor, or from the moment I started, is only because I've had far more life experiences. I've seen a lot of things in life which I had no access to earlier. So it's just that. So that's my process, man. Just there is no process.
So all these years that you've been here, how has your emotional journey been? I mean, coming from Delhi, which is a very different city, because I'm from there as well. Emotionally also, it's a very different city. It's far warmer. I'm not saying Bombay is a bad city.
Bombay.
But Bombay is, I think, a lot faster, a lot more practical.
Ji.
Delhi runs on emotions.
Ji.
So what was that transition like for you, settling in here?
I came here, I loved Bombay. Because Bombay gave me independence. Like I said, I've had a privileged upbringing, so I wasn't even allowed to stay out of the house after 8.
Yeah, sheltered.
Sheltered, like, nahi, itni raat ko nahi jana.
Yeah.
So I have an older sister, she wasn't allowed, and my parents wanted to be, कि अगर हम उसको नहीं जाने दे रहे, how can we let you
Yeah.
go out just because you're a guy?
Correct.
And तू क्या protect करेगा भाई अपने आप को, तू भी घर में बैठ types.
Yeah.
So from there, when I came to Bombay, what Bombay gave me was independence. I'm like, okay. तो पहले उस independence की खूब मौज ली गई, और फिर realize हुआ कि उस independence के साथ एक responsibility आती है, क्योंकि अब तुम अपने माता पिता के छत्र छाया से बाहर है.
Correct.
और अब सारे लाइफ डिसीजंस तुम्हें लेने हैं, और उसके रेपरकशंस भी तुम्हें ही फेस करने हैं. कोई
Absolutely.
पापा आके बचा नहीं लेंगे कि नहीं नहीं ये मेरा लड़का है, इसको छोड़ दो. You have to. So I feel like Bombay, I came here as a boy. I definitely came here as a boy who was just
Young
so
and
full of
naive.
energy, was just bubbling walking out of that airport. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. People come here, they work hard for 10 years, then they get a film. I walked in. The second day I was sitting in a producer's, because the agency showed my pictures to somebody, I was sitting with somebody. I'm like, oh, nice. This city likes me. And I always say this, that Bombay has a pace. Yes, and if you don't like that pace, you're going to hate Bombay. But
Correct.
if you enjoy that pace,
Yeah.
it's the best adrenaline rush that there is.
Also, once you
Because
get used to that pace, I don't think you can live anywhere else.
yeah, I go back to Delhi. I go back and I love Delhi. Delhi is, I'm a Delhi ka Londa at heart and will always, always be. But I go there for 4 days and I'm like, okay, this space isn't for me.
Yeah.
This space isn't working. बहुत आराम से laid back
Yes,
तरीके से
very
चीज़ें
laid
हो रही हैं कि अच्छा ये करना है, अरे उठो करो और चलो फिर दूसरा काम करते हैं.
Yeah.
One has gotten used to it for the last 13 years, 14 years. So I'm like, suddenly you go back, it's great to meet your college buddies, spend a night with them, spend 2 days with your parents. 4th day you want to come back. You want to come back and be like, Arey, come, I'll go for a jog on the beach. Arey, I have to do that thing, I have to do this thing, I have to write this thing, I have to read this thing. So you've made 20 things that keep you, I feel like keeps you alive.
Absolutely. I agree.
Delhi can, if you go in a shell, can also, you can completely go in a shell, I feel.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your mental health journey as far as coming to Bombay and from the beginning of being an actor to being a successful actor now, that whole journey, how it affected you mentally? How did you grow into this person where you've developed perseverance and resilience?
Oh, you fight every day. Today I've woken up from the right side of the bed, so I feel very upbeat about myself. But there are days when you wake up and you're like, why the hell am I doing this? Why am I subjecting myself to so much scrutiny and so many, you read so many things about you which sometimes you don't want to read. So it's a constant fight, and I feel like the more I talk to people, the more I realize it's a lot like this for a lot of people. So my understanding of ek to mental health when you're growing up in Delhi, there's no understanding of it.
Or anywhere. It's not just Delhi. I
Matlab,
think it's not
I
really
can only
spoken.
talk from
Yeah.
my experience, like where I was growing up, there was no chatter about it. And
There still isn't.
I'm assuming now at least some windows, if not doors, have opened.
A little.
Little. And the older I've gotten, I have realized what it is slightly more because I've had people around me. I have seen. I have sometimes struggled with wanting to be in the best headspace. So it's an everyday tussle. And how do you come out of it? Or there's no fixed way. I've spoken to people. I went and I've met people in my life who've counseled me and spoken to me. And I'm not against that at all. And I feel like everybody should have somebody to talk to. But actually, it has to come from within.
Absolutely.
If you want to be in a better headspace or not, of course, external help is more than welcome and is necessary, but that want has to come from within.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can seek therapy or counseling unless until you are ready for it
Yeah.
mentally.
No, but sometimes I feel like you get now these things because हर चीज के साथ ये होता है ना. I feel like sometimes when we're going through something, हम अपने में ही बना लेते हैं कि this is our internal fight, we have to fight it ourselves. No man, talk. If you're suffering, you're suffering. Why hide it?
Yeah.
At least with people who are close to you. So I feel like one should talk. And I know it's not easy, it's easier said than done. And if I can talk my case, I feel like I've surrounded myself with these 3-4 people that I try and be as honest as I can. You can't be absolutely honest with everybody.
Yeah.
You can't tell your inner head workings to everybody. But as close, I think I've found some sort of comfort there. So that really, because you have your days, right? You wake up, you like, I'll give you an example. For instance, there's this film I'm really wanting to do, right? And I've gone and met the director, the producer. It seems like it's going to happen. And then somebody else gets it, right? It just, your sense of worth just goes for a toss. I'm like, you took that guy? But listen, I was better
fit.
And oh, you think, okay, that guy deserves it. You can go into a rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
You can go
It's
down.
a downward spiral.
And there are different kind of mental health, right? Like this is one kind that this is because of a profession I'm part of and that's making me feel like this. But some cases are very different. In other cases, that's not profession related or not even if they have money or not. It's actually something they're going through. Those cases are very different. But in my case, I just make sure that I let people these 4 people decide what my self-worth is. I decide what my self-worth is, not what people are telling me.
Absolutely. I think self-worth is based on self.
Yeah.
It is what you think of yourself. And I also think what you think of yourself is what people ultimately will think of you.
Yeah.
It's how you place yourself. You know, if today you keep putting yourself down, I don't think anyone can pull you up. But if you say, I am of a certain category, I'm of a certain caliber, and I'm of a certain standard, then automatically, may take time, but that will be the
More than saying
benchmark
you
you'll
have to
start
feel.
from. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's where you place yourself. If that's how you feel about yourself, then automatically that's what you project. You know, they say how you feel is how you come across. So if you're confident within, is you'll come across confident. So if you say, Saqib is a certain, if you think of yourself.
What if I'm a great actor? What if I can hide what I have inside? And because there are a lot of people who are going through a lot of things that you're like, oh, he was going through that? One didn't know. Right?
No, that could be masking, the skills of masking how you're feeling. Or they could have gone through traumas where they feel like it's better not to show than to show. Because that's their safe space or that's their coping mechanism. A lot of people's coping mechanism is to mask it. But I feel like if ultimately you can feel a certain way about yourself, process it and show it, that's what people will see. There are some people who enter a room and there's light with them. You want to talk to the person. You want to know who they are. You'll ask if 4 people have walked in, you'll be like, who's that person?
And
you may
how
not
do you
ask.
think that happens?
I think it's the energy you carry. So when you seek counseling or therapy at any point, do you think it made a difference to your life?
It gave me clarity. It gave me solutions to a lot of things in terms of, okay, why am I thinking like this and not seeing the other side? And sometimes it helped me correct my narrative. We all build narratives in our head as to how the world is, what the world thinks about us, or what that one is feeling about us, or what we feel about somebody, when we actually feel something completely else. So it helped me change narratives. Yeah.
Wow. And do you think the world we live in, it's kind of imperative to have therapy?
I think it's great to talk to somebody, and I think everybody should talk to somebody. Yeah. I am fully for the idea.
And do you think if you were younger and you knew more about it, would have helped you through this journey? I mean, would have been easier to deal with the ups and downs, the rejections, the projections?
That's life, no? You can't say, "Arey, ye pehle hota to aisa hota." You don't know. This is life. This is how it turned out. This is the screenplay of my life.
No, absolutely. But like, I'll give you an example. I had postpartum depression. I had no idea what it meant.
Sure.
And I wished back then that someone had guided me much earlier. I figured it out when my child was almost 1.
Sure.
So it took me almost a year to process that.
Sure.
Had I known when I was pregnant or when I had my child, I would have probably saved that 1 year of heartache. So in that sense, if you had guidance, let's say from the first 2 years of you being in Bombay or being in this industry that is so mentally demanding.
Matlab, I needed guidance for a lot of things, Yara. Ashna, I'm saying, when I came here, I didn't have a publicist for the first 5 years. Nobody gave me any guidance. So, of course, guidance is always great, whatever guidance you can get. Of course, if somebody who wouldn't have liked that if there was somebody who guided me and told me, oh, this is how the business works and this is what you should be doing. And of course, you need that. And of course, that's going to be of great help. And I'm a firm believer that if you think you have something to talk about, you should talk about it. You should go to somebody. If you're going through, it's mandatory of sorts that please, there is that option available. But if there's somebody who feels like they're fine, they're fine. But I feel like we have to be just honest with ourselves that where we are on that spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest achievement a person can have in their life is to be honest with themselves. Because I think most
and that's
people
what we struggle with, right? The most I struggle with it. I don't know about you. Sometimes I lie to myself only. So those things I want to rectify a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a huge quality.
Do you judge yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you judge yourself?
All the effing time.
So Saqib, what according to you makes someone a good actor and what's your definition of stardom?
To be a good actor, you have to be very watchable. Like I should want to watch you.
Right.
That's the definition. If I'm watching you and I like watching you, you're a good actor. What's the definition of stardom? I feel like जब घर के बाहर आपके लोग आने लग जाएं, आपके birthday 10,000 लोग केक काटें, I think that's stardom. I did a film called Race, and I experienced it not for me but for Salman Khan. How there were people who had tattoos and all of him on their chest, and I'm like, oh, that's going to stay for the rest of your life. That's some next level love you're getting, Salman bhai. And yeah, I felt it, that euphoria. Yeah, but lots of pressures of it, yeah. I feel like stardom के भी अपने pressures हैं to live up to that image all the time. The sense of expectation is a lot, but I think that is stardom. जब लोग आपके पीछे दीवाने हो जाएं.
So from how do you differentiate between stardom and success? You think there's a difference?
We are all successful, but we all don't have stardom.
So there are two different things.
Yes, 100%. I feel like just doing what we want to do is success in itself. But stardom is just some next level God connection. God's like, I always feel like people who achieve stardom, कि भगवान जब सबको बना रहे थे, उन्होंने 1 सेकंड में आपको बनाया, 2 सेकंड में मुझे बनाया. जब उन लोगों को बनाया, उन पे 5 मिनट हाथ रखा कि इनको कुछ स्पेशल शक्ति देंगे. उससे ये इतने सारे लोगों को कैप्चर कर पाएंगे और इतने सारे लोगों को अपने बारे में उनके दिलों में अपने लिए इतना प्यार जगा पाएंगे. आई थिंक that is what stardom is, yeah. There's no definition to stardom. It just happens, yeah. And usually, I feel being a very good actor and being a very big star are two entirely different concepts.
That's what my question was.
They're two different concepts. Is a good actor successful? 100%. Is a star successful? 500%. Does the star have stardom? Yes. Does the actor have stardom? Maybe no.
Maybe no, yeah.
Maybe no. But they will have some sort of love. There will be people who love them for the art form, who love them for their skill set. There will be, but what stardom is, that's just something else.
So if a movie of yours has done really well, but you don't get the recognition or the stardom for it, is it mentally very draining or challenging?
It's a tough place, yeah. It's a weird place rather. You want people to know you. Then you get hassled about people knowing you too much. Then you go to a place and you make eye contact with somebody. Somebody looks at you for an extra second. You're like, oh, has he recognized me? And then you realize, oh, he hasn't recognized me. There's so many conversations going in your head when you haven't. If you're seeking stardom, and if you're on the way to that, there's so many of these conversations constantly in your head. But if you're chasing just good work, then all you want is somebody who's liked your work to come just tell you that they've liked your work. So these are just, I don't know how else to explain it. Like I remember when I'd done my first film, I'd gone back to Delhi and I'd gone to Khan Market to have a role, right? So
my favorite place. Khan Chachas.
So you're walking behind. I've done my first film, I'm about 21 years old. There's a spring in my step and whatever. So people have walked by me, I've looked at them. I'm like, arey, they haven't recognized me. Damn. Crossed another set of people, they also didn't look. So I'm like, arey yaar, pehchan nahi. Then suddenly I saw 3-4 college kids walking from a distance. They looked at me and stopped. So I was just confused at that point. I'm like, should I just wave to them? Should I just go like, hi guys, I'm the same guy? Or should I? And I got so awkward. About it, and I'm like, hey, I was seeking this. Now why am I awkward about this? So that's the confusing space I'm talking about, and I think you go through it till you don't settle down inside as to what you really want, because जहाँ से भी आते हैं हम सारे आते तो स्टार ही बनने हैं ना.
Correct.
कोई ये बोल के तो आता नहीं कि मैं अच्छा एक्टर बनने जा रहा हूँ. नहीं, मुझे स्टार बनना है यार, मुझे शाहरुख खान बनना है, मुझे सलमान खान बनना है. These are your aspirations growing up, right? So वो जब आपका एक सेटल इन हो जाता है, suddenly you realize कि आपको क्या करना है. ये तो उन्होंने किया ना. Suddenly then you become easier with yourself.
Because
otherwise
like,
you're
what
always
is your identity. You have to build your own identity.
And I feel like उससे पहले आप uneasy रहते हो. जहाँ भी आप जाते हो, you're still figuring out, are you enjoying the acknowledgement you're getting, or you're getting uneasy about it. The degrees keep changing every day. It's weird.
I think in most professions, the success is defined by how much money you've made, how popular you've become. Let's say you have a fashion company, you're making enough money, you know you're successful. Whether you're in tech, if you've made money, you know you're successful. I think this is one space where just making money is not enough, right? It's that emotional need to be validated by so many people. I think that is so challenging.
I struggle with it every time I have something up for release. And I always tell myself, I'm not going to read reviews, I'm not going to read what. but you just get,
The
you
human side gets
really
a bit of you.
want to know, you really want that validation.
Yeah.
I can have the car I want, I can have the house I want, great, but I can't get the love I want always, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
dependent on other people. These are things dependent on me. So validation is a massive factor and a massive aspect in an actor's life, that actually all we are seeking is validation.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that's the most difficult aspect for any human being.
Yeah.
Because I can't force you to validate me. And you can't force anybody, right? Like you have an audience of, I don't know, billions. But you can't influence those billions to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You have to let them feel a certain way about you.
Yeah.
But you're waiting to the last moment for them to see what you want them to see. So,
But I feel like that's where the fault is, right? हम उल्टा घूम के चल रहे हैं. If what we are doing and we fully submit and surrender to that and not worry about who's going to say what, maybe we might create a space of honesty somewhere. That would connect with people. We are always looking at the end result, saying, like, I remember when I was doing my first film and I was having a horrid time shooting because I had never been on a set and I was very uneasy about it. I'm like, why are all these people looking at me? Oh shit, I gave a bad take. I was uneasy about the whole process, but when I got the validation, suddenly when I walked into my second film, I had more confidence about what I can do and what what I'm capable of. And when that validation increased, then I got more confident. And then one day came a film I got trolled for. So all the validation I'd built up on these films came crashing down. So it's just this seesaw that you keep going through, but you have to get comfortable with it within, because that's how it's going to be. So there is no other way you can change it. So I now don't take anything seriously. I just go out there, have fun and forget about it. Try and disconnect as much as I can, because otherwise everything's in your face, right? You do something, it's on social media, everybody's talking about it, writing about it. But try and disconnect a little. I feel like that's the only way to keep the head right. Otherwise, there's just too much information and it's not fun.
So after 13, 14 years, have you learnt that validation is really from self, or do you still rely on the world for that validation?
I'll lie if I'll say कि no, internal validation is very important. Internal validation तो मैं बचपन में जब पैदा हुआ था और मुझे थोड़ा सा दिमाग आया था, मैंने दे दी थी अपने आप को कि मैं तो हूँ कुछ, तभी मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँ ना. I'm seeking, I don't know why. And if it's wrong in seeking, I don't know. I don't think it's wrong in seeking.
There's a right or wrong. I just think that makes your journey a little more difficult, because then you're constantly battling the fact that I've not reached somewhere because I didn't get.
Can I word it like that? When I'm actually working on something, I'm only seeking that work and want to be as honest to that. But once that work is ready and it's out to be consumed, then all I can think about is, oh, will it be accepted? Will I get the validation I thought I would in the first place? So I still haven't figured out how to not want that. And कि मैं उससे ऊपर कैसे उठ सकूं? I don't think I've become that evolved a human being till now. Would I want to be? Maybe. I would want to see how that also feels like.
Yeah.
But till now I haven't reached that.
How do you practice self-compassion?
There's a show called Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And there's an episode, in one of the last episodes, he's having a tough time with everything. And he has this way that he goes to his washroom, he looks himself in the mirror and he's standing slouched. And he just gets up and he starts doing that every day of his life. So I feel like you've got to pick yourself up every time and just believe in yourself, because if you're not going to believe in yourself, nobody else will.
Nobody will.
So just the only thing that's a constant in your life is you. Everybody else comes at a particular point and goes at a particular point, because they also have their things to happen.
Yeah.
So if I can't be true to myself and love myself, who I'm going to spend the most time with, then how will it happen? Nobody will believe me. If I'm selling a product I don't believe in, I'm an actor, I'm the product. If I don't believe in, how will people buy me?
Absolutely.
So I just wake up every day and I have a pep talk with myself. I talk to myself out aloud in my room. If there's something I'm working towards, I'm actually chatting with myself. I journal. I write a lot.
That's amazing.
I have some 800 notes on my phone. I have some 3 journals filled. I go back to journal, read what I was thinking last year at this point. So I just really like to track my mind because that's the only way you can. Sometimes you know what happens, like I read something, I found a diary of me when I was about 25 and I'd written some things on it, right? Now I'm 36 and I look back at it and I'm like, ये चाह रहा था क्या मैं 25 पे? I had set the ceiling here or what? And I achieved all those things by 30. And I'm like, oh damn. We sometimes where we are today, we just limit ourselves to be wherever. And I always keep, that is why I don't plan. That is why I feel like planning से कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा है.
Correct.
You just need to be very honest and aware of yourself. What are you good at? What do you enjoy the most? What can you make a difference with? And if that conversations happen, the world throws opportunities at you.
Absolutely. I think, and also like we discussed, whatever you're destined for, I think finds its way to you, or
Yeah.
you find your way to it.
Yeah.
So how do you manage burnouts? Do you face burnouts?
I face a couple of mental burnouts and like बहुत ज़्यादा information हो गई है दिमाग में, and I feel like the only thing that keeps me, what has helped me is traveling. I just pack my bags and I just travel for about 10-15 days, and that's what sorts my head out a lot sometimes, because I feel like, especially in a place like Bombay, because you're in this relentless pace.
Yeah.
Sometimes the pace that you enjoy gets to you also.
Yeah.
So I'll just like to take some time off.
Yeah, it's like a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
So tell me, Bollywood is one of the most influential industries, right?
Ji.
And given its immense reach in this country especially, do you think the entertainment industry is doing enough to promote mental health awareness? Do you think the new boys or girls coming in kind of...
No, I feel like a lot of actors have started talking about it, which I think is a great thing, because now people who are very successful are talking about it. So it's not like
It's not
success.
taboo.
Yeah, it's not like successful people don't go through depression or mental health
issues.
There is a norm like that, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the stigma around it has been reduced, but I feel like it needs to go more down. And I feel like any sort of judgment needs to go away with, because I feel like everybody struggles mentally. At some point or the other in their lives, they struggle mentally. And I'm very happy that a lot of people from my line of work, my fraternity, have spoken about it.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about it.
Absolutely.
Like 5 years ago, nobody was talking about this. And I'm just very happy that now in films, there's better representation of it. So I feel like the representation has become better, but can we do more? 100%. But I don't think it's alone the film industry's responsibility.
No, I mean to say
Sometimes because our responsibility also at the end of it is to make entertaining films, and not every film has to have something of this sort, because by design. But films which are talking about this have to be very sensitive about it and show them in the right light.
I didn't mean films. I mean like the industry on its own, not taboo it, not push it under the rug, be open about it. I don't really mean depicted in films.
No, I feel like a lot of people have started talking about it, which is very good. I feel like it's going to inspire a lot of people to talk.
Yeah.
Because if...
Normalize it.
I heard Deepika Padukone speak about it, and I'm like, if people are seeing her talk about it, then my cousin's sister, who was not wanting to talk about it, maybe gets little more confidence to talk about it to her parents or to somebody. So
that's what I mean. Like the industry has such a big impact on us, right? In this country, like we really look up to Bollywood, cricket. There's certain industries we really look up to. And if an industry like this starts talking about it, then it becomes normal for a lot of people. A lot of people will be like, oh, Saqib loves doing this. I would like to try it, because they're your fan.
Thank you.
So if you talk about mental health, then it becomes easier for them, let's say, in their life to deal with it.
You know, it's such a sensitive topic, and it's not like also I have all the knowledge about it.
Right.
And sometimes when you don't speak about it is because of the lack of education on the subject, because we also live in a very cancel culture kind of world.
Correct.
That if I say something and my intention was something and it just spiral into something. So maybe I'm also now getting a little more educated about it and trying to understand different people, how different people react to different things. And I feel like there is enough chatter, but can there be more? 100%, like I said. I would love to talk about it because I feel like I said, everybody is going through some mental
Something
things
or
in
the
their head, yeah, and those need to be discussed.
How do you stay authentic while managing public perception? I'm sure you're aware of how the world sees you and you know who you are. How do you manage that? Or is there a blurry line?
Anyway, I don't have a pretense of being a film actor. I don't move around with two bodyguards and an entourage.
You don't have a separate TV persona and your own persona. You are
I
who you
try
are.
not to. I try, but do I fail? Yes, of course. Sometimes you just see a lot of people and you get love, you get overwhelmed by it, and you don't know how to react. And because you don't know, sometimes you just become slightly snobbish. Also, we like everybody, right? We go through our mood swings. It's not like
You're human.
yeah. So sometimes I get very overwhelmed by love. But I always try and genuinely engage with the person. I feel like if somebody's, and this is how I think, if somebody is just meeting me for 2 minutes, he should remember me. I would like that. This is just the Delhi boy in me saying, I'd like that. Yeah, I've met that guy. Nice man. Like I met him. He gave me such a firm handshake. I'll always remember it. I'm like, oh, that guy I met. So it's just that you want to make a little bit of a difference. So that's where I'm at.
What advice would you give to the youth of today in terms of mental well-being and practicing mindfulness?
Just talk to people you love, talk to professional people, and there is no stigma attached to this, and just have a want to get out of this. That inner want to just get out of this should be there. Try and create an environment for yourself where you think you can be the most authentic.
Amazing. And some final thoughts on mental health?
Final thoughts on mental health. Mental health is as important as your physical health.
Yeah.
If not more. I think a little more than your physical health. But physical health is also very, very important. But because if I feel if the mind is right, then the physical health also
Adjusts itself. Yeah.
becomes better because the mind is functioning at its optimum. So guys, for people who go to the gym and work out every day, also should go and speak to somebody for an hour whenever they get the time. It's great, man. We all do it.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. This has been an incredibly honest and enlightening conversation. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
It was my pleasure to be here. I never thought that we would end up talking about such things. I just hope and feel I made sense.
You did, absolutely. This has been the Therapy Diaries. Until next time, take care of yourselves and one another.